Hey guys, welcome to Bootstrap Essentials tutorial. I am Lalit Besi, and in these 18 video series and 4+ hours, I'm going to be talking about everything you need to know about Bootstrap, like a grid system, how to create layouts and all that stuff, how to use rows, columns, how to design columns, how to make them responsive, how to control the different columns and rows, the container in different devices, how to use offsets inside Bootstrap, how do you use nested columns and how to order them. And we're going to talk about buttons, style buttons, how to create icons and how to use glyph icons, how to style forms, use forms elements, use tables inside Bootstrap, use drop downs inside Bootstrap, just using a simple class, using tabs, and how to use navbar, how to use model windows inside Bootstrap, how to create small and large model windows. Uh, they're responsive by nature. That's the beauty of the Bootstrap. How to create a collapsible stuff inside Bootstrap. Then we have carousels. You can use create image sliders inside Bootstrap using just simple elements. Uh, we also have breadcrumbs and paginations, how to create those previous next page and all that stuff. We have labels inside Bootstrap. Just use a simple class and you can create a label. We have Jumbotron and using a thumbnail inside Bootstrap. And after that, we are going to create the whole responsive website from scratch using Bootstrap. And from the things that we have learned inside this series. There are so many things to learn. Just let's get started. The introduction of Bootstrap. Okay, so a little bit introduction about Bootstrap. In the series, we're going to talk about introduction, walk you through the ins and outs, download and installation of the Bootstrap. I'm going to show you how to download and install Bootstrap using two methods, and then the grid system, the most important part, the new whole grid system, how to create layouts for website and all that stuff. And then we have Bootstrap, many Bootstrap elements in this whole series. We have navigation drop-downs, tabs, lists, menus, forms, image, slideshows, and collapse elements and models, windows, and tables, how to use tables, style tables, all that stuff. And after that, I'm going to create a whole fully functional website using Bootstrap, and that website will be fully responsive and all. That website will be created after all these things are finished and all. So make sure to check that website. That video is not included in the series, but I will create that after I finish the series. So make sure to check it out. And the Bootstrap creators, they were the former employees at Twitter, and the first one is Mark Otto, and second one is Jacob Thornton. What is Bootstrap? According to Wikipedia, Bootstrap is a free collection of tools for creating websites, web applications. It contains HTML, CSS-based templates for typography, forms, buttons, navigation, all that stuff, and as well as optional JavaScript extension. Now this is important. In the June 2014, Bootstrap was the #1 project on GitHub with 71,000 stars and 26,000 plus forks, making it the most popular topic on GitHub at that time. So it has a user base including MSNBC and NASA. In a easy language, websites that were created before with a lot of CSS, JavaScript, and all that coding, those same websites can now be created with few lines of code using Bootstrap. And a plus point is those websites are responsive by default. So awesome things about Bootstrap. Bootstrap has a built-in HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. You don't have to, remember all this CSS styles and JavaScript functions, all that stuff. You can have that same functionality, same, effect with just a little class in Bootstrap. And second thing is it is highly responsive by nature. So whatever you create, it is for phones and tabs and desktop and whatever. Next we have easy to follow documentation. I'm going to talk about documentation in later videos. What documentation is, whatever you need. For example, you need such a type of effect in a drop down, or such a button effect, or such an effect in navigation and all that stuff, such stylings. You don't have to worry about any coding or stuff. You just have to go to the documentation, take the code, paste it into your file, and that's it. You'll get the whatever effect you want. And the last is the built-in grid system. If you are a web developer and you create website, need to think a lot about the layouts and all that stuff. So Bootstrap has its own grid system that you can use to create layouts and all. So that's an awesome thing. That's a new thing in Bootstrap. And so that's it for the introduction. What you need to know is a little bit of HTML and CSS. But if you don't know that, I'm gonna be as easy as possible for you to understand. Uh, so if you are a newbie, you can follow this tutorial as well. But I recommend a bits about HTML will do. You don't have to worry about the CSS, but a bit about HTML will help you a lot. But if you don't know about HTML, it's fine as well. So that's it. Let's get started with downloading and installing Bootstrap on your system. So as you can see, I'm on my desktop, and but before going into installation of Bootstrap, as you can see, I have this working files Bootstrap folder. These are the working files that you can download by going inside the description box below and clicking on any of the link. These are Dropbox and Drive links. They're safe, and you don't have to worry about the size. It's just 307 KB, and these are all the files that we're gonna use: panels, models, collapse, carousels, breadcrumbs, and all that stuff, effects and all. After this, I'm going to talk about downloading and installation. There are actually two ways you can download and install Bootstrap on your system. First one is the easy one. Second one is the easy one as well. So the first one is this one. Go ahead inside your working files folder and open this initial.html. As you can see, there is nothing. There is this document type and nothing at all. Head section, if you are familiar with this, all the SEO stuff, meta description and title and all that stuff, and JavaScript and CSS goes inside the head section. And this is the body section. The body of the HTML goes in the body tag, and every tag which opens needs to be closed. So this is the closed HTML, open HTML, open HTML, open head, closed head. It's a simple HTML. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to my Bootstrap official website. This is the Bootstrap official website, and you can see there is this download Bootstrap button. You don't have to click on this. You will download the whole piece of junk that you don't need. What you need to do is go inside this Getting Started tab. As you can see, right here we have this download Bootstrap and source code, and we have SAS. I'm not going to talk about that. This is the first one. As you can see, this is Bootstrap CDN. So what I want you to do is copy these links inside your initial.html that you have downloaded. Or if you haven't downloaded the exercise files, you can just create your own HTML document, name whatever you want. Just open create an HTML tag, open a head tag, and copy these files inside your document, inside your head section. So I'm gonna copy these, Control V, and I'm gonna go to this latest version, the third link, and I'm gonna copy this and paste it inside the body tag, at the end of the body tag. So I'm gonna Control V this, and that's it. There's one more link that you need to download, which is a jQuery. Uh, you have to go to Google, type jQuery, download latest jQuery version, and go to jQuery.com/download. And as you can see, these are the latest versions. We have jQuery 2.1.1. This is the latest version at the time of this video. So I'm going to click this and copy this link, go to my text editor. So I'm going to go to my body section, and as you can see where we posted this, I'm going to add a tab. And before this bootstrap.min.js, we are going to create a script with a source and paste that link inside this. And I'm going to close my. So as you can see, I have copied the first two links inside the head section and the third link inside the body section, and I have this jQuery in a script tag. Script tag is basically the tag used for adding JavaScript and jQuery. So I have this jQuery link. So this is the first method. So now you don't have to download any package or something. If you want to create anything, just type whatever you want, and you can test it out your Bootstrap and whatever you want. You have links inside this. You don't have to do anything. This is the first download and installation of Bootstrap method. Now you can type whatever, and you can test out Bootstrap with this. One thing about this installation method is, if you don't have internet connection, you will not be able to test out Bootstrap. So if you want to, if your internet connection is coming ins and outs and all that, so you need a package that you can have, so that if your internet connection is not working, you can test it out locally without that connection. So that's the second installation method. So I'm gonna close this, and I'm gonna go to my Bootstrap, get Bootstrap. And as you can see, we are on the get bootstrap.com/getting started page, and in this you can see Bootstrap compiled and minified CSS, JavaScript, and fonts, whatever. You have to click this download Bootstrap button, and you will download that Bootstrap package, whatever. So I have already downloaded it. As you can see, we have that on our desktop right here. So I'm gonna extract this, and this is the folder. I'm gonna open this, and inside this we have CSS files, Bootstrap 3 minified versions of CSS. We have we have glyph icons. We are gonna talk about glyph icons in the later videos, and we have this JavaScript files. As you can see, these two files are the same, but as you can see, the second one is the minified version, and the compressed version, you can say. And as you can see, it cuts out 30 KB. So what I want you to do is create a file, new file, and I'm gonna go to a Bootstrap website again and scroll down a little bit, and as you can see, I'm in the getting started section, and open this basic template and copy this whole text. Control C this, paste it inside your text editor, whatever text editor you are using. I'm using a Sublime Text, and file, save as, and save this inside your Bootstrap folder that you have extracted from the package. And inside this you can name it whatever you want. I'm gonna name it template.html. Make sure to name the extension .html for an HTML file, and save this. So this is the template right here. So as you can see, this is the template, and this is the hello world section. And if I run this template, let's see, I'm gonna run it. I'm gonna open this in Firefox. Hello world. We have successfully installed Bootstrap into our system. So whatever you are gonna do inside this, you just are gonna add whatever you need inside your body section. This is the body section, and whatever you need just inside, just to put that inside this. So one last thing inside in this installation, as you can see, we have these source file. uh, First one is HTML shiv.minified.js version, and we have second one is respond minified.js version. And these files linked to the links to these two files, as you can see, max cdn, these are the links. So if you want to download these files as well, you can do that by going to first one is HTML shiv. First of all, you have to open the working files, and inside that there is a text file. Open that, and inside that there is this HTML shiv link. Copy this, uh, paste it, and as you can see, this is the file I'm talking about. Click this download HTML5 shiv version, and the next one is respond.minified.js version that I'm talking about. This one is right here. This is the link. Copy this and paste it right here, and click on this download zip button. So when you download it, as you can see, I have already downloaded it inside my on my desktop. Extract those files. I'm gonna extract it right here. So if I open this HTML5 shiv, as you can see, go inside the distribution folder, and there is this file HTML5 shiv.minified.version.js. This is the file right here. So you need to copy this file, and go to your Bootstrap folder that you have downloaded, and paste that file inside your JS or JavaScript folder. You have to do the same with the respond.minified.js version. Go inside the distribution folder and copy this minified version. Copy this. As you can see, this is the file respond.min.js, and go to your Bootstrap folder again. Go to JS and copy that. So you have successfully installed Bootstrap using the second method, and make sure to remove this and put JS. Now we have those files inside our JS folder. So that's basically it. This is the second method of installing Bootstrap on your system. So whatever you need, whatever you want to create inside Bootstrap, you just need to add inside your body section, whatever container, row. We're going to talk about the grid system and all that stuff. Everything goes inside this body tag. So as you can see in the working files, I have my main.html file. If I open this, and I'm gonna just close this, and as you can see, I'm using the first installation method, but you can use whatever method you want. It's up to you. Just use whatever method you want. Both are the same. So that's it. I'm gonna be working in this main.html file, and now we're gonna talk about the Bootstrap grid system. So yeah, let's get started. Okay, so as you can see, I have my main.html document open right here, and you can open this by going inside the project files. You can download this from the description, and as you can see, I have included this header and footer in my body tag. You don't have to worry about these. I have just a little thing going on, added some hello world container in the grid system, and added my social networking site link. So you don't have to worry about that. I'm going to talk about this in detail when I'm going to talk about how to create a website in the later videos. So just ignore these. And now I'm going to talk about containers in the grid system. So I'm going to talk less and work more. I'm going to create a div tag, and I'm going to give a class of container, and inside that I'm going to create another div and add this is my first container. I'm going to control save this, and I'm going to open this inside Firefox, refresh, and as you can see, this is my first container. Now what is going on? What is this? First of all, those of you who don't know what div tag, what class is, div tag is a section or particular division in an HTML file document. It can be one section, it can be many unlimited sections, it can be sections within sections within section. So it just define a particular element inside the whole HTML document. It's just and it is used to group block elements to format them with the CSS style sheet. So that's it for the div element. And we have class is a CSS selector. It allows you to select and manipulate the HTML document. For example, we have this class with a container. We can use this class to style whatever inside this div element we have. So that's simple HTML and CSS. uh, so what container in Bootstrap is, container the job of the container is to center any content that we have inside the Bootstrap. I'm going to talk about that later. Inside my second div tag, I'm going to create another class, and I'm going to name it well. It's a Bootstrap class which allows you to create a little well around the container. I'm going to press Control, save it, and open my browser, refresh. And as you can see, this whole little thing is created by this class dot well, which is a class in Bootstrap. And you can also style this whole element, adding a style sheet inside your HTML document. For example, I'm gonna create another div tag and add a little tab. Name this class gray, and use this class to add a little style sheet inside my head document. The head style sheet, the CSS thing, all the JavaScript and CSS all goes in the head section, or you can create your own external style sheet. So I'm going to create style dot gray. I'm going to add a background color. Let's say we have what is 000 black, and add a little padding of let's say 20 pixel. Control save this and go to my Firefox, refresh, and as you can see, this black color comes with this 000 background color. As you can see, I have created a class of gray and put the whole container inside that class, and I have styled that gray using a style sheet. this background color 00, which is black, and added a little padding of 20 pixel. You can also change the color, let's say CCC, which is gray. Control save it, refresh, and as you can see, this little gray color appears. So that's it for the container. As you can see, it is responsive by nature. So whatever you put inside the container, the Bootstrap, the container is styled in such a way that it centers anything that you put inside the container in Bootstrap. So now I'm going to talk about rows in the grid system. Okay, so as you can see, I have cleared all that up, and now I'm going to talk about rows. But before that, I'm going to open this header and type rows. Yeah. So rows in Bootstrap, normal rows that we use. I'm going to create a div tag with a class of container, and I'm going to make another div tag with a class of row. And I'm going to copy this. Okay, so the main purpose of the row inside Bootstrap is to clear one another in in the web page. So I'm going to control save this and open Firefox, refresh, and as you can see, this is the first row and this is the first row. Okay, so I'm going to go back to Sublime Text, change this to second, and as you can see, the role of the row inside Bootstrap is to clear one another. So if you put anything like, for example, columns in the first row, they will clear each other when you use them in other tablets or iPad or whatever. So I'm gonna put another div tag inside this to make it a little more visible. For example, div, and add a class of well. Close the div tag, and I'm gonna copy this whole thing, Control C, and paste this inside this. This is the second one, and let's say we have the third one. Control save it, open Firefox, refresh, and as you can see, we have the first, second, and the third row. So whenever you squeeze it, as you can see, they are clearing one another. So if we put columns inside these, the row, the main purpose of the row is to clear one another no matter what happens. So next, row is completed. Now we're going to talk about columns in the grid system. So column in Bootstrap is column used in a row. So I'm going to create a div tag with a class of container. Inside that, I'm going to create a row, and inside that row, I'm going to create columns. So I'm going to create another div tag inside the row and put a class. For creating columns, we have col dash lg for large, and dash, let's say we have 6. So and inside this column, I'm gonna create a well so that it is visible enough for everyone. I'm gonna create a well with a div tag. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to control save this and open this inside Firefox, refresh, and as you can see, this is the first column. So I'm going to explain it one by one. So the job of the container here is to, it's a container, you whatever put inside the container, the job is to make it center whatever you put inside that thing. The job of the row is to create a row. Inside the row, we have this call lg6. It is a column. It is used to create a column that we have created right now, as you can see, with a block, 6 block, and in that we have created a well, as you can see, for you to be able to visible enough. So as you can see, I have one important thing right here is to notice that the column setup in Bootstrap is 12 columns maximum. You cannot use more than 12. I have, as you can see, used 6 column. So if I control C this and paste it one more time, and let's say this is the second column, control S, refresh, and as you can see, this is the second column inside the first row. So the total amount of the columns of the blocks that you can use inside, the total amount of the columns that you can use inside Bootstrap is 12. So you can add a 2 multiplied by 6 or a 4 multiplied by 3, or uh, 3 columns with 4 4 4, or 2 columns with 6 6, or 6 column with 2 2 2 2 2 2. So they have to be uh, 12 or less than 12, not more than 12. So I'm going to create 2 more, control C, and let's say V. So we have to add up, let's say 6, and let's say this one is 3, this one is 3, so 6 and 6. Oh, we already have 12, so I'm going to create a 2 2, 6 to 8, 8 to 10, 10 to 12. So I'm going to control save this, open this in refresh, and as you can see, first one is 6 and the last 3 are 2 2 2. So this is the columns inside Bootstrap. uh, Remember that the column setup in Bootstrap is 12 columns maximum. You can use less than that, but you cannot use more than that. So now we're going to talk about how to control your grid system to make it more responsive. Okay, so I'm going to talk about controlling the grids using the LG and the blocks in Bootstrap. For example, let's say I'm going to create a div tag and give it a class again with container. Again, a div tag with a class of row. Inside that, I'm going to create another div tag with a class of column LG. In this video, I'm going to talk about the size of the columns LG, medium, MD, small m, SM, and extra small XS, and controlling the grids. And let's say it's 6. And inside that, I'm going to create a well with a div. Okay, so I'm going to control save this and preview in the browser. Refresh. And as you can see, this is the first column with 6 1. And I'm going to copy this, paste this, second, control save and preview in the browser. Second one. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about the breakpoints. What is the breakpoint? Breakpoint is the point in which at the columns inside a row breaks into 2 rows. So at large we have a breakpoint right here, as you can see. And now I'm going to use another size which is called as medium, which is MD, and control save this. And if I refresh, as you can see, they are with 6 blocks of a Bootstrap, and the breakpoint is a little bit right around here. So for the medium breakpoint, it is right here. For large, it was around right here. And now I'm going to use, let's say, I'm going to add another 2. I'm going to copy these. And as you can see, this is the breakpoint right here for the medium one. And I'm going to use small with SM. And for the small element, we have a breakpoint around right here. So for small, we have right here. For medium, it was here. And for large, it was here. Now, if you want your columns to stay in the same row no matter what the size of the device is, you can use the extra small element by XS. So control save it, and if I refresh this, as you can see, no matter what the size of the device is, it stays in the same row. So you can control this with these elements. Okay, now what I'm gonna do is add 6 instead of 3, and let's say I'm gonna add another element of a column medium and 3. I'm gonna add this with everyone. Control save this, and when I preview this in Firefox, as you can see, we have first two column right here, and if I drag this, as long as it hits the medium breakpoint, it breaks into two sections. So what it says that whenever we have a we have a medium element, when we are having blocks, when we are having columns with a medium element, so before the breakpoint of medium we will have 4 blocks with 3 3 3 3, and when that breakpoint hits, when the column hits the breakpoint, it will add up to 6 6 6 6. So as I've told you earlier, that the total blocks in the Bootstrap is amounts to 12. More than 12, if you are adding more than 12, it will break into two rows. So as you can see, I have 6 4 is 24. So of course it's clear that at extra small or small screen, it will break into two rows with 6 6 in the first row and 6 6 in the second row. So what it does right here, as at first it was at the medium breakpoint, medium columns, and when I drag this, when at the point where when it hits the breakpoint, it is divided into two rows with 6 6 6 6 on extra small screen or small screen. So you can also add up, add a large one with a 3 3 3 3. So it's gonna break very often, because that's a large element, and that's what it does. Now I'm gonna add a little text in the first one. Let's say okay, so as you can see, I've added a little text. So if I save this and preview in the browser, as you can see, this is the text. So if I add the medium we have right here and add the extra small, as you can see, there is this gap right here, which is kind of like a odd. So we're gonna fix this gap by using an class which is called as clearfix in Bootstrap. So as you can see, the break happens after the second column and before the fourth column. So I'm going to add that clearfix after the second one with a div tag, class of clearfix. I'm going to control save this, preview in the browser. And as you can see, that gap is now gone. But as you can see, this when I with a clearfix on the bigger screen, the responsive pattern is gone. So I'm going to fix that too by using another element inside the clearfix, which is called as a hidden dash md, and also I'm going to add hidden lg. Save this, preview in the browser, refresh, and as you can see, at the large screen or the medium screen, the clearfix will be hidden, and at the extra small screen or the small screen, the clearfix will take place. So that element hidden at the medium and hidden at the large, the clearfix will be hidden. So you can control all these things by using all these elements, excess, extra small, and medium, and make sure that if you're using the column in one row, you have to add them up to 12. If you increase them, they will break into two rows. So make sure to do that. Okay, so that's it for controlling the grid system. Now I'm going to talk about gap between the column inside the row. Okay, so sometimes we want to have a column inside a row and then a little gap and then a column. So how are we going to do that? Let's say I'm going to place a div, another again, with a class of container, another div with a class of row, inside that with a div with a class of medium column with 4 blocks, and again a div with a well, so that we can clearly see that. Okay, so save this, preview in the browser. As you can see, first column. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this and another one, and here let's say I'm going to have a first column and then a little gap and then the second column. So I'm going to add column medium and add element which is called as offset in Bootstrap, and let's say it has a 4 blocks column. So yes, So 4 of offset, 4 of medium of the second one, let's name it, and 4 of the first one added up to 12. I'm going to save this. As you can see, this is the first column, and then there is a gap, and then there is a second column. So if you drag this, as you can see, when it hits the breakpoint of the medium block, it splits into two. So you can also add small one, SM, control save this and refresh. And as you can see, this is the small, so it's the breakpoint of the small, it ends up into two row. You can also add XS, extra small, to algorithm. You can also change the offset. Let's say it's 1, so 4 4 added to what, it doesn't matter, it has to be 12 or less than 12. So I'm going to control save this, and as you can see, this is 1 block, 4 block, 1 block, 4 block, so added up to 9. So there are extra C blocks that you can add. That's it for the column offset. You can add whatever gap you want in as many rows as you want. Now I'm going to talk about nested columns. I'm going to get rid of this. Okay, so nested columns inside Bootstrap are the columns which you put them inside other columns. For example, you have two columns and you want to put several other columns inside the first column. So those several other columns are called as nested columns. So again, I'm going to create a div tag with a container and a row. And inside a row, I'm going to create a div column with a class with blocks of 9. Let's say class medium 9, and let's say first column. And I'm going to copy this, make it 3 so that they add up to 12, and second. Control save this, preview in the browser, refresh. And as you can see, this is the first column and second column. You cannot see them properly because there isn't any well. So I'm going to create a color to them in a style sheet in the head section of the page. Column medium 9. Let's say we have a color of background. Let's say grayish color, and I'm going to copy this background color of let's say black. Control save this, preview in the browser, and as you can see, first one is the gray, second one is the black. So I'm gonna nest two columns inside the first column. So I'm gonna go to Sublime Text, and as you can see, this is the first column right here. So whatever column you have to add, you have to first make sure that those columns are put inside the first column. So I'm gonna press enter. So if you want to add nested columns inside a column, first of all you have to create a row. So I'm going to create a div tag with a class of row, and inside of row we have another div tag with two columns. The first one column is with a class of medium 6, and make sure that it has a well class, and let's name it first nested column. And I'm going to copy this, Control C, and it's so if the second most one thing right here is you would have said that this we have the first column is 9 blocks long. So the first one is 6, the second one should be 3, but that's not the case. If you're putting the nested columns inside a column, the nested columns should also be 12 blocks long. That's how the grid system works. So as you can see, they added up to 12, and I'm gonna name this second. Control save this, preview in the browser. As you can see, this is the first nested column, second nested column with a well inside the first column. So if I drag this, as you can see, they are both, as it hits the breakpoint of the medium one, it breaks into two rows. You can also add large, or you can also add SM for small. It's up to you. So that's it for the nested columns. And in the last part of this video, I'm going to talk about the ordering of the column. So that's it for the nested columns. I'm going to get rid of this. And now I'm going to talk about ordering the columns according to the different devices that you're using. So first of all, I'm going to create div with a container. In this, I'm going to create a column with a block of two columns. So div tag. Let's make it small and add a well. Okay, so I'm gonna copy this thing and I'm gonna paste inside columns second and control save it, browser. And as you can see, this is the first column and this is the second column. So let's say suppose we want in the bigger screen, in the desktop screen, we want the first column, we want the second column right here, and we want the first column right here. But as we move from the desktop to, let's say, tablet, then let's say we want to change the order of the columns. So let's see, I'm going to add another class to the first column, column small push with 6, and second one pull 6. Control save this, and if I preview in the browser, as you can see, the second column, first column right here, and the first column is the second. But as you can see, we are using the SM right here, which is small. So as we move to the breakpoint of the small, as you can see, first column is on the top and the second column is at the bottom at the second number. So what this push means is push the column to the right with 6 or whatever number of blocks. So what it did right here, it pushed the block. So what that property did was it pushed the first column to the right with 6 number of blocks, and pull means to pull the column to the left with 6 number of columns. So this is the desktop version, as you can see, and if I squeeze it to a tablet or iPhone or whatever, it goes back to normal. So the first one is right here, second column is right here, so you can use this push pull uh, for ordering the order of the columns. And one more important thing is the bootstrap is built mainly for the focus of the responsive design, mainly for the focus of the design created in the mobile and the tablet first. The priority in the bootstrap goes like this: mobile, then tablet, and then desktop. So the responsive design of mobile comes first for bootstrap. That's why, as you can see, you can use this push pull for order the columns according to different devices. So that's it for the introduction, and that's it for the grid system. In the next video in the series, I'm going to talk about how to create new styles of buttons without using so much CSS, but just using a little class, and you can create great buttons in Bootstrap. So that's it for the video. Thanks for watching, and if you like the video, please subscribe and please like the video and whatever. So see you in the next video.